guys, gals, and non-binary pals, GM Potter here. Welcome to my channel where I review books and bookish things. If you like what you see, please consider subscribing. Today we are going over How to Keep House While Drowning, A Gentle Approach to Cleaning and Organizing by Casey Davis, LPC. This book was recommended to me by a friend. I was talking about how I struggle with cleaning and organizing, not so much the cleanliness aspect, but the getting started in the executive dysfunctionness of it all. And this book is very much designed for people who are neurodivergent, neurospicy, have executive dysfunction, are on the spectrum, like any of those things. If you are not neurotypical, this book is for you. If you are neurotypical, this book is 100% not for you. This is not your book. Move along. So this book came out in 2020. It has a 4.4 on Goodreads, and the best review comes from Alex, who gave it 4 stars. It is short, sweet, and validating as F. It's part memoir, part self-help. This book is written with accessibility in mind. So I'll just flip open to a random section and show you. So it's written in a sans serif font, so it's easier for people with ADHD and dyslexia and things like that to read. It's got the main points in bold. It's got thoughts are short and concise and easy to understand. Every time she uses a metaphor, there's a footnote at the bottom explaining exactly what she means by the metaphor. And it features a shortcut. It's like you finish reading a chapter and at the bottom it says shortcut route. Skip to this chapter, and like you can just kind of skip along and read it faster if you have a hard time concentrating or if you don't have a lot of time to read or what have you. It's very well designed, the book is. And so, like I said, there's main points in bold. And then we've got little, like, it's very well done. It's a very well put together book. As you can see, it's not particularly long. It's very short. I read it in 2 sittings. Because I had to go switch over laundry in the middle. I hate laundry, but I had to. And yeah, it is all about reframing. And it talks about care tasks, calling them care tasks over chores, because chores are something you have to do. They conjure up the feeling of drudgery, of unwillingness and foreboding and like being a little kid and being forced to do things. But if you call them care tasks, they're things that you're doing to take care of your future self, that it's a kindness to your future self, which I thought was a very interesting way of phrasing it. And although it looks like there's a lot of things in a room, in any room, there's only 5 things going on. There is trash, there is dishes, there's laundry, there's things that have a home and are not there, and things that do not have a home and need one. And when you phrase it like that, it's a lot easier to work with, and it's a lot easier to get started. And she talks about how to get started, and some people have to dip their toe in, and like they struggle with executive dysfunction and they can't just jump in and do it. And some days I have that problem where I can't just jump in and start cleaning. And like normally what I do is like I have bipolar disorder. So while I'm in a depressive phase, things get really bad. And then I get to a manic phase and I clean everything. And the cleaning has to wait either until people come over or until I get to a manic phase. And her approach I can do in a depressive phase. Because what you do is you start with item 1, which is trash. And you take a big trash bag or a trash can or what have you, and you go and you pick up all the trash in the room. Don't throw it away, set it by the door. The next time you leave the house, you're going to take it out to the dumpster, and that's that. But don't break the momentum that you started. You just started, you've got this momentum going now that you're actually doing it. Just put it in a trash bag, put the trash bag by the door. And then number two is dishes. You gather up all the dirty dishes, all the clean dishes, all the dishes that aren't where they're supposed to be. Go and put them in the sink. Don't do the dishes yet, because that breaks the momentum. Dishes, she's like, dishes can wait for another day. I'm like, well, I'll probably do them when I finish, or whatever. But don't do the dishes yet. And then you go for laundry, and you take your laundry basket and you pick up all the laundry, because it was so validating to have someone acknowledge that laundry ends up in places other than the bedroom and the bathroom. Like, I get home from work and I tow off my socks in the living room. And yeah, I'm going to have dirty socks in the living room. I'm going to have my overshirt or my regular shirt if it's really hot. I live in Texas. It gets really hot here. In the dining room, I'm going to have like random bits of clothing and undressing throughout my house because A, it's my house, and B, I have sensory issues. Sometimes clothes are too tight, sometimes out of nowhere they get itchy, and I just take them off and move on with my day. And it acknowledges that laundry happens. And she gives you permission to keep a laundry basket in the dining room if that's how your life is. Keep a laundry basket in the dining room. Laundry baskets go where laundry accumulates, which was so validating because that's something I already do, but it was very validating. And then next is you take everything that has a place and you put it in a pile. And you go and you run around and you put everything that has a place in its place. And then you pick up everything that doesn't have a place and you put it in a pile. And she gives you permission to throw it away. That if it doesn't have a home, does it need a home? Or does it need to be thrown out? Does it need to be dealt with? And like sorting it and kind of triaging it, and a little bit of the KonMari method in that last section. And this is the hardest section, so you've got this momentum building and building until you get to that last section. And it is so good. And I did it on my living room. My living room was a complete and total disaster. I was feeling overwhelmed, and I'm like, I was just gonna have to wait until a manic episode because I can't deal with this. And I'm like, well, I just read the book. I'm gonna try it because why not? And I wish I had taken a before and after picture. Was my living room clean and beautiful and decluttered when I was done? No. Was it actually livable? Yes. Like, I got 2 bags of trash, and I also went one step further and I gathered up all the recycling from all the boxes and packages and deliveries that had come in, and I just put them all by the door. When I went out later that day to check the mail, I took all the trash with me and threw it away, and it made life so much easier. And it works in the kitchen. I can gather up all the dirty things, put them in the sink, and then once I've dealt with everything else, then I deal with the sink. And it works for every room in such a beautiful way. And like I said, this book is only for people who actively struggle. Like, if on Goodreads, it's got some reviews where people didn't need this book, and they're like, it made me clean out of spite. She said not to do the dishes, so I went and did my dishes. Well, then this book really isn't for you. Like, good on you for doing your dishes, that's great. But not everybody has that executive function level, or the mental function level, or the emotional functional level to do that. And she, instead of calling it cleaning, she calls it resetting the space. She talks about how it's very cyclical, that every space has a cycle, and when it reaches the end of its functionality, that you just reset it. And instead of it being this Sisyphus like thing of pushing this boulder up the hill, and it just crushing you day after day, and you've still got to push it up, that it's cyclical. That once things get messy, you just reset the space and allow them to get messy again. And it kind of gives you permission to do it that way. She's like, not everything has to be clean at the same time. Like, and I'm like, that's very helpful, that I don't have to have every aspect of my house clean at the exact same time. And it's just, I love this book. This book is a lifesaver. Like, it's not, I don't mean that in that it's keeping me alive. I mean that it's allowing me to move forward with my life and to do things with my life. And if you're neurodivergent, if you have mental illness, if you have any sort of non-neurotypicality, this book is for you. Please, please, please go read it. Recommend it to your local libraries. Everybody who is not neurotypical, I think, could benefit from this book. So, should you read this if you are not neurotypical? Yes. If you are neurodivergent in any way, yes, you should read this. If not, this book is not for you, and that's okay. So, let me know how you do it in the comments down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!